Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Friday night. It is February 28th, the last day in February, and it is time for the return of the Ghost Files. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition. We have lots of updates as far as Never Hike Alone 2 fulfillments. We have some project updates, some convention updates. We'll be running through all of that stuff. But before we get going, remember, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel, like this video, get some, the thing where you have to interact with it so I can get more views. It would be really, really nice. But it's good to have everybody here this week. Let's see who's in the chat. Some of my regulars are here. Of course, Adam Stout. What's up, buddy? Yeah, number 39, right? Pretty crazy. Lamontre's here. Mitch is here. Robert the Wolfman here. Ghost Jason is here. Look at, wow. He's already got the icon going. Tammy is here. What's up? Animotion. Is that Moy? I see Moy here too. Animotion. That'd be funny if he's running too. Steve DMV is here. Allie girl, what's up? I guess you're watching the stars tonight. Hopefully they'll do all right. Devin is here. Much love. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Zachary Ellison is here. 1-2. Jason's coming for you. Sweeps is here. Gregory Peck is here. Gregory, where's my shirt? Peck. Let me see. Zach D. I think I got everybody. Brandon is here. What's up, dude? And Big Easy's in the house. What's up, Big Easy? Okay, cool. Looks like we got a pretty nice stream going here tonight. I haven't even really read these comments too much. Let me see. I'm here. I've been MIA for a few. Yes, I'm multitasking tonight. All right. Well, we're all in. So it's been a few weeks since I last checked in. It's actually been really, really busy here at the let me just get there. There we go. It's been actually a really busy here at Womp Films HQ. Right now, I'm at home over here. I'm not going to spin the camera, but we have a giant shipping station set up for Never Hike Alone 2. That's right. The Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-rays have finally landed. And here is the first edition copy right here. Look, it's finally here. It's getting hit in the light, but there you go. After all this time, when you open it up, the nice things inside, you'll get the signature. Gonna get this insert with just the artwork, and then the thank you signed by me. I hand signed every single one of these suckers, or at least I'm hand signing them as I go. The other version, which it's funny, I don't have a red one here, but I have the black edition of the Jarvis versus Jason edition. So we have the inserts here. As you can see, that this is what it will look like. The different, let me get them both up, I guess. So you can see them side by side. I did post the inserts. So there's the blue, there's the first edition, there's the Jarvis versus Jason, just as it was pictured. So just so you can see that for a second, but this, these guys, a huge stack of these went out to Tom Matthews a day or two ago, and he'll be signing his half of these. So I hand numbered these 1 through 1,000. That's what this edition is going to be. There are 500 red and there are 500 black. For some reason, I didn't bring a red home, but I have one of the blacks. This is sort of like 1 through 500 is going to be red. 501 through 1,000 is going to be black. 99.999% of Never Hike Alone 2 blackers are going to get the red case. A couple people have asked about the black case. You can switch it out, and you just got to let me know ahead of time. That could be pretty cool. And then for those of you who may not remember, we have the Never Hike Alones going out, and they'll have their insert cards. That guy with this little ditty on it, and then Never Hike in the Snow. The cards are on the way, but you got Never Hike on the Stool. And then I guess I forgot to grab one of the ghost cuts, but the ghost cuts are over there. I'm going to leave them. And then what you're really getting and what you're going to be looking out for is one of these. Now, I'm not going to show someone's address or mine, But basically, we've been packaging them in this guy. I found these to be really effective for shipping Blu-rays. It's like kind of like a nice kind of area around it. They get crushed less. Bubble wrap, they got crushed all the time. Like bubble wrap was the worst thing to send them in. So these ended up being super sturdy. I used to get these great Blu-ray packages, but they don't sell them anymore. But anyway, you keep an eye out for this. If you just got a Blu-ray, the way that Mo and I, Mo, my girlfriend, who's been helping me do all this, I have to shout her out real quick because she has been a shipping machine while I have been off at work, and she has been here some of the days. She's been able to process a ton of your orders. We're in the process of doing that right now. If you are a backer and you're watching this and you received an email this week and for some reason the address didn't line up to what you received in your email, don't panic. We actually found a bug in stamps.com this week. I've experienced it before. Mo had not experienced it before. So it was doing this thing where it was constantly resetting the values on her in the thing. So when she would hit print, it would act like it was printing. She thought she printed in what she wrote in, but it would revert to the last person. And so it would get sent again. And then when these people were emailed, they were receiving the previous information. So we went in, we fixed all of those. Luckily, all those people, even if it got confused, you're all receiving the same thing, a Never Hike Alone first edition Blu-ray. Right now, we're focusing on the first edition Blu-ray because that is the easiest thing to ship. We have I want to say like 1,300 orders of just single Blu-rays. So we're going to bang all those out as fast as possible. We're clipping at about 100 packages a day. I dropped off 2 packages this morning. So those are going to be hitting the airwaves. I am trying to catch up on emails. We have a nice 2-tier system where Mo's been shipping them and putting in the tracking number, and then I'm taking it, cross-referencing it with the Indiegogo to make sure that we didn't make any mistakes, inputting your tracking into Indiegogo, and then also sending you a follow-up email to actually confirm your tracking number, which you'll be able to research on USPS. We'll be sending a lot of media mail, but it seems that first class 3-day is cheaper than media mail now, which was unheard of back in the day. Media mail used to be $350, now it's $460. First class is like $430, $390. So it's not too bad. So yes, the insert cards are back. That's gonna be great. Last time I checked, and I'm still not done. I still probably have another 100 orders to go. But right now, out of 4,000 orders, we are up to 650. So we are moving through these at a pretty decent clip. I believe most of the Blu-rays will be out domestically by the end of next week. As I said before, Tom Matthews is currently signing his Blu-ray inserts. I've already hand numbered them and signed them myself. So when I get these back, I'm going to be building the Blu-rays, 100 at a time. We'll start sending out your Jarvis versus Jason Blu-rays. So if you go to Jarvis versus Jason, expect your email probably in about 2 to 3 weeks. There's only 500 of those. So those are going to go fairly quickly. We'll probably get those done in a week. I have some good news as far as Tapeworm Video. I heard back from them finally. I will just say briefly that it is good to stay kind to people, even when you sort of, sometimes you reach out to people and you don't hear back right away. Always do this with grace because you never know what people are going through. I finally did hear back from Tapeworm Video. They were dealing with some stuff over there, which they now have settled, and I can understand why it took a little bit longer, but they were very close with the VHS. As soon as those land, we're going to focus our attention on backers with VHS tapes. Now, backers with VHS tapes can mean 2 different things. Not only just your VHS, like a Blu-ray and a VHS, but if your VHS is also part of a camper pack, that also means we're going to be focusing on those larger packages as well. So that's basically what's going to be taking up the coming in on the back end of all of this is those larger camper packages, the ones with, t-shirts and sweatshirts and posters and all of those things that require larger packaging and a little bit more time to package. Those items are down at a warehouse where we have more of those things. We do have some of them here. I do have some t-shirts. I brought a sweatshirt today for somebody. And we've been kind of plucking people off there. There are things that have to do with weapons. So weapons are currently in progress. Ones that, were built for the replica rewards. We have the sickles that we had for the film broke. Every one of them sort of got thrown and broken and all that stuff. So Cody's going to be printing a couple more sickles. So backers who back that get like an actual working sickle, and I'll send you a piece of the screen use sickle. I have one Pamela head that's going to be being printed. So that is also in progress. I have great news for backers who backed the figures. So really cool update here. For a while, I had been looking for a new vendor who was going to take care of some stuff. My usual vendor was not able to do it. He was very busy with some other projects. I ended up finding someone else to step in and take it over. The 8-inch Ghost Jason dolls are now in progress. Those will probably be done, I believe, in a month or two. I'm going to hear back from the vendor, fairly quickly. I believe the test piece that I sent to him is just landed with him. So he's going to mold that and start getting those going through. So I'm going to be catching up on those. So that's great news. The other cool news, one I haven't talked about in a very long time, but one that I was very excited about, is the cloth 1/6 scale figure. Not the ones that Kaiden are doing that I've showed on the channel before, but I'm talking about like one of those like crazily detailed, like everything is like 1/6 scale to the 10th, like Jason's. I believe 3 people on the campaign purchased those. They were quite expensive. Let me tell you the story about what happened with this. And here's a lesson on running crowdfunding campaigns. I had someone approach me who, was a big fan of the movies. And they did a great job as one of these figure makers. And in the process of doing this, said that we could make them and all this stuff, and quoted me a good price, said he would donate some time and do all of those things. So we went through it. We put we put Ghost Jason up. I want to say we sold about 3 of them. I think Bruce, I know, got one. A few other people got another. And, so then I hit them up after the campaign was over, and I was saying, hey, when can you get these going? And then I got ghosted. And so luckily there was someone who stepped in a long time ago. Shortly after that happened, who said that they would do it. They just had the longest list of commissions in the world, and they would get to it eventually. And so the good news is that we've finally come to our place in the list of commissions. I just commissioned them. They got the materials. They're going to start building them. They're actually going to build 5. So there's 3 that are being built for the campaign. There's 1 that's going to be mine, which is going to be the original build. And then there's going to be 1 more that I'm going to offer up for sale at a later date. I'll either bring them to conventions, maybe I'll put them on a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo, or maybe we'll offer them up in other ways in future. We'll be able to build them again since we built this original and we know what we're doing now. So all of these things are in progress. That puts us at 100% completion as far as everything being in progress. And in about 2 months, we will have the rest of our weapons. We will have all of our VHS tapes, and we will have all of those things. There is just one more thing that is going to be a slight delay, maybe for some backers towards the back end of the campaign. So if you came in sort of like, if you've been waiting not the longest, but the least, like you've been waiting the shortest time. There are 3 additions. The Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, and the Ghost Cut are all going to run out of print eventually. Now, you guys remember when we spoke about this a while ago that our original Blu-ray vendor went out of business. So the idea of, hitting them up and say, hey, I need 300 more Blu-rays, was very easy. So when we finished, I believe, the Ghost Cut campaign, we ordered a bunch of extra Blu-rays, knowing that the Never Hike Alone 2 campaign was eventually going to come up. We kept all of that in stock, and we had them print that for us. We went through that entire campaign, and most of the back stock from that campaign supplied what we needed for, we have hundreds of Blu-rays in back stock right now for supplying that. The problem is that there's a few more hundred people who backed the campaign, who secured those discs. So, instead of going back to our original supplier and saying like, okay, now we know what we need 250 more, let's go ahead and do it. The new distributor has to remake our master disc. They also have to, for the first order, like when you create a master disc and you do this, their minimum order is 1,000 discs. So it made me think, well, if we're going to go all the way back to having to do the master disc again, what would I do differently? What would I do on each disc that I think would make it like worthwhile, that if someone wanted to come back and double dip, that it would be worth coming back and buy it again, because it would be a little bit of a different experience, or maybe there would be different special features that would be offered on each one that weren't offered on it before. And here's basically the idea that I came up with. Never Hike Alone 1 is mostly going to stay the same. That was maybe our most perfect build, just as it coming together from the start. Just I made one mistake on that Blu-ray, and that was we had that export for the Blu-ray done at 235 when I should have said 239. Now, does it ruin the movie? No. But it's always bugged me that the Blu-ray has been at 235, because there's little things that I balanced frames out that are just sort of shaved off. I don't think most people will notice, but I do. On this new version of the Never Hike Alone, it's going to be released as it was originally intended in 239, and it will reflect the cut that you see when you watch Never Hike Alone 4K, if that makes sense. So that 4K cut, not that we're making a 4K Blu-ray, but that version of the cut, which I believe actually has an alternate shot in it just in one place, is going to be in there. Never Hike in the Snow is relatively, as a short feature, is going to remain the same. I'm not going to touch anything about it. It's, that export was actually perfect. What I am going to change is some of the special features. So I'm going to remove the trailers, because the trailers on that Blu-ray are for movies that came out 2 years ago. So I don't think we need trailers for that anymore. And a lot of the things that are on there are sort of being teased in the extra shorts anyway. So what we're doing is removing the trailers, and we're adding 3 extra shorts. We're going to add Imagine, our original short film that's on our channel. We're going to add The Red Room, which is another short film that is on the channel, and then we're going to add The Ghost in the Fog, fully animated short film. Not fully animated, the story animatic, the one that's on the Never Hike Alone 2 Blu-ray, is also going to appear on that. So there's going to be more bonus features in there. Never Hike Alone 2 we have set up, so if we need to print more down the line, those are going to stay the same. The next big change, so we're making the final cut. You know what that's going to be. Just a quick review for the final cut. The final cut is all 3 films cut together, not chronologically, so per se, but more cut together in story order. And so it's going to be sort of continuity, but we're cutting out large sections of the films. There's only going to be one title sequence at the beginning of the movie, and the rest of it is going to play like one continuous movie, one into the next, into the next, and the next. No breaks, no title sequence, none of that. That's the final cut. The Ghost Cut, as you know, is our 2.5-hour anthology feature that just lays out the films one after the other and just puts them in chronological order, gives you a couple special edition, scenes in between, and and it's out. Well, if we're going to have to reprint the Ghost Cut and I have to start it from scratch, why am I printing a 3-year-old version that stops at Never Hike Alone? So we're going to basically put the old Ghost Cut out of print, and we're going to replace it with this new Ghost Cut. This new Ghost Cut will be one of the featured items on our next campaign for Ghost in the Fog, which is going to launch sometime around April 7th or April 8th. I'll go into that a little bit more in a second. But the Ghost Cut the full Ghost Cut will be one of the premier items, along with the final cut still being offered at that level. These new Blu-rays will be offered individually as well. The pricing is relatively going to stay the same, because with the funding that we raised from the previous campaign, the Final Cut campaign, it wasn't enough to really get Ghost in the Fog going in a way that was really going to be productive. So I'm taking that money and I'm investing it into these brand new discs. They're going to cover, extra what we need for Never Hike Alone 2. It's covering what we need for Never Hike Alone, the Final Cut. And hopefully, because we're getting 1,000, of each, that it's also going to cover us into the next campaign. Now, what's important for backers to understand here is this. If you're a part of the Never Hike Alone 2 campaign, and you are someone who, say, backed the campaign in late 2023 or early 2024, right before we close the campaign, it's most likely that you are going to receive one of these new discs. When we get to your order in the Never Hike Alone 2 campaign, let's say you got Never Hike Alone 2 and you got a Never Hike Alone. If we run out of Never Hike Alone, you are going to receive a pamphlet basically explaining what I'm explaining right now, saying, hey, we're out of stock, but we have reordered. And when it reorders and we ship the next round of shipments, your name is already on a list that you're going to be a priority recipient of the first batch that's coming off the line. And we'll just pick up where we left off and people will get that. It's going to be a little odd because a lot of the backers are going to receive the old version of the Ghost Cut, which is going to be obsolete. In my opinion, these things sort of become the rare birds that actually grow in value over time, because only, I want to say 700 of those were ever printed, making it maybe our most limited release, and it's going to be replaced. For those people who actually receive Blu-rays, we're going to offer you a discount for the new one. So just the price difference. If you paid, I believe, maybe $20 or $30, the Ghost Cut on this is going to be $40. You just have to pay the $10 difference and you're good. If you are one of those people who get passed up on and you have to wait a little bit longer, well, you're not going to have to pay anything. You're just automatically going to receive this new Ghost Cut. So when we do launch this campaign, it's our mission to get us through as many orders as possible. So you know whether or not, if you want to upgrade or not, you know where you stand, whether you're already getting one or whether or not you have to invest and get 10, or whether you backed it in a previous campaign. I will honor that as well. If you back the original Ghost Cut campaign, we'll throw that on as well. Still $10 coming in, and it really does help more people we get going. And that's going to be sort of how we're dealing with that. I just posted that on our Never Hike Alone Kickstarter update. This is going to be a part of my next Never Hike Alone 2 Indiegogo update, which will probably launch sometime early next week, probably on Tuesday. I'll probably get to that. Sorry, I haven't been reading comments just because there's just a lot to go over here. Never Hike Alone, the Final Cut Kickstarter. We've talked about it tonight. It's pretty much dead in the water. We did have some people back from the convention we went to last weekend called Dead of Winter in Worcester. I had a great time. John and I believe Jeremy and everybody else who was a part that festival. It was a really great showing. It was great to see a bunch of local Worcester filmmakers showing what they can do. I'm a graduate of Worcester State University. It used to be college when I was there. It changed to a university. But anyway, I'm a graduate. I lived in Worcester for 3 or 4 years, so it was cool. It's good to be back home in a sense. So it's cool. And in Massachusetts, there's like this really cool sort of like triangle that's sort of formed. We know that we have people in Boston. We're building one down in New Bedford, and to know that we have someone else in the western, sort of central to western part of the state in Worcester, it's a really cool feeling to know that the film community is growing here. So people had backed it from that, from that, and we had a little bit of a couple extra backers that came through, but for the most part, people can't read back. We're not going to post anything new. Obviously, last week I showed you one of the t-shirts. If you looked at the logo tonight, that is a preview of another t-shirt that is coming very soon. I'm waiting on one last design that's going to go onto the back. It is going to be super dope. It is a Never Hike in the Snow themed t-shirt. We've never really done it like that before. Again, our boy Josh Beamish is back doing what he does best. It's going to be super rad. Ghost Jason. Oh, Mardina's here. I see you. What was I thinking? The Ghost Jason thing with him doing the lightning and stuff like that. That is going. Oh no, actually, wait. So the snow one on the back is going to be. It's basically Mark Hill's dead head, all like ripped to shreds, and then under the blood flowing out underneath says it's got a death curse. So that's going to be another long sleeve that's going to be part of the campaign that's coming up. And then also the other one with the lightning, that's another element that we're working on right now. So there's going to be 3 new shirts for that campaign. Going back to that Kickstarter, which I should have been talking about in the first place, which was, we're going to close that on the 15th of March. That's going to give me about 2 weeks to get the Indiegogo up and prepped. I believe that by April 1st, I will have the Indiegogo for Ghost in the Fog up and running. Right now, my idea is to sort of put the goal around $25,000 to $30,000, so it's an achievable goal. We'll be able to take a large chunk of that money, give it to Mako Animation. They will be able to work further on Ghost in the Fog and get at least half of it done. And then we'll continue to raise money with the Indiegogo. I do believe that the Indiegogo in demand post-campaign features are much better and more backer friendly. It's also very much campaigner friendly because people can back as many times as they want. You know, we can go back and forth. I can build you custom perks. I think that's a lot of what people want. We're going to have so many, like, you know, there's going to be a lot, I think, of people wanting to mix and match items, and it's just easier for me to build it there. Like, obviously, we're going to have our new run of Blu-rays. We're going to have our new t-shirts. Those t-shirts come with posters that match them as well. So there's, like, you can see how the bundles are starting to shape up. I don't think at this moment we have much for pins, but I can approach Creative Terror Pins, see what they have in mind. Obviously, Tapeworm Video will continue to do VHS tapes. Those will be available again, because Jeremy at Horror Effects Designs. Oh, one thing I didn't go over. Once he finishes those weapons and he finishes those masks, he is now once again available to take new orders. So we'll see if we can run a new batch of Ghost Hawks that we'll be able to sign, and some other items that, you know, that we could probably put together to really make this work. So there's going to be that. And so that's going to launch around April 8th. And we're really going to need your help to get Ghost in the Fog going, and anything that you can do once we get going to help us spread the word, support again. You know, even if you bought stuff before. Oh, one of the goals that I have to do this month that I'm trying to get into and finally figure out is, now that we have all these new Blu-rays and we know where we're getting from and they're coming from the same place, the next step of this is going to be a box set. You know, finding a box manufacturer. In fact, Kaiden Ritchie helped me find a box manufacturer who can help us build a custom box so we can fit these. I think what the idea is, I think if you guys saw the post that I put last week, in fact, I may have it let me pull that up maybe. Did I? I didn't. Here's what I can do though. I can add an asset, right? I do have this power. Bear with me, guys. I want to show you something because I want to talk about something. Crowdfund campaign updates. Ooh. There we go. And that's what I'm looking for. Boom. All right. I'm going to go to Little Vinny mode. Hang on a second. Just waiting for this to upload. Boop, there we go. And I'm gone. Whee! So let's talk about this. The original films all come with the blue cases. Those of you who purchased like the original film, you know that it also came in a red case. And then we didn't offer Never Hike in the Snow in a red case, but if you can find a red case, it works. And what I found was that, like, there was this really good rhythm of there are red editions of Never Hike Alone. There are blue editions of Never Hike Alone. So these new Blu-rays are all going to be in black discs. Black cases. And so that's going to be the cool feature for these. So if you don't, you know, obviously, like, I know you guys have already backed us a million times or probably bought the movies a million times, but if you buy these new black edition Blu-rays, they're going to have, you know, updated contents, updated menus, and maybe some updated languages, things like that. But you're getting something that's a little bit I don't want to say upgraded, because the other discs are also great. If you're getting the old discs, they are also beautiful and well made. And I wouldn't have sent them to you if they weren't any other way. But these ones are just going to be sort of, you know, we've had a chance to look at these over the years and really sort of sink our teeth into, like what we think would make a good box set. You know what I mean? So we all want them to look the same. The Shout Factory, Friday the 13th, they're all black discs too. I mean, black cases too. So I'm thinking, like, you get like Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, Never Hike Alone 2, and then you have Ghost Cut and Final Cut. So you have, you know, 5 there. That's a 5 case, you know, box that you can get. I'll probably end up talking to Josh Beamish again about doing some artwork that will wrap around that and make it all one narrative. Depending on how it goes, like right now, I picked out artwork for those Blu-rays that will suffice for the campaign. But I think if we raise enough money, we'll talk to Josh about doing brand new labels for each ones that we've never seen before, you know, fully new commissioned, and really just make it worth it for people who want to come back and say, like, okay, like, for the people who haven't gotten them before, this is the time to come back and get them, because now it's all done and we're good. And for the people who haven't done it before, go there. Let me see. May I have a first question about Kickstarter? When is the Ghost in the Fog Kickstarter coming out? So that is coming on April 8th. That is actually going to be an Indiegogo. I want it to be a flexible goal because it's like, I want this thing to happen so bad, but for some reason it hasn't necessarily been, it hasn't really burned any, burned anything up to be like, we've attracted a bunch of people to give us a ton of money to just jump into this idea. It always seems to stall out at some point. So I think that, giving it its own campaign is going to help it and sort of like really kind of move it along. One of the cool things that I can announce now is that Zoran Govic and Chelsea Rebecca from the Dead Meat channel are going to be taking over for me and Luciana Fallhaber. We're going to replace those voices. We're bringing in the Dead Meat team to help us out. Dead Meat is going to be helping us with this campaign to get this thing done. And hopefully get it to, a nice big audience to help us, get enough awareness so we can, finish this up, put Jason into animation. And, as we start to get closer, we're going to have more stuff that we're going to be, we'll be releasing about the film and things like that. So definitely stay tuned to updates, stay tuned to this channel as we do more Ghost Files Live, and all of those fun things. Whew, that was a lot about crowdfunding. But if you have any questions, you can always email me at wompstompfilms at gmail.com. Just kind of scrolling through the comments. I believe with this guy, I swear, Never Hike Alone needs to become canon to the real Friday the 13th movie universe. It deserves to be more than just a fan film. Please echo that on social media, especially if you see people talking about how they want to direct Friday the 13th. Just put some Womp Stomp stuff under that and tell them that your boy Vin already has it handled. Let me see, anybody else? Bam, I think I got through everything else there. All right, cool. What else is going on? Let's talk about some stuff I did bring up last week. Did I not? Oh, boom. Let me do this. Just a reminder, my next convention is coming up. It is April 26th through the 27th in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. It is Monster Expo. Tom Matthews will be there. CJ Graham will be there. Linnea Quigley will be there. Eugene Clark will be there. I forgot who he was last time, but I remembered this time, from Land of the Dead. I'm sure he'll be in costume. He always is. Last weekend was Dead of Winter. As I mentioned last week, it was a great and wonderful time. And I will definitely be back for future years. I'll definitely have some of those guys on for all that fun stuff. Oh yeah, I showed you guys that this is going to be one part of the shirt. This is going to be another part of the shirt. Showed this last week. So we're building more of these. And I'm really, really excited about that. Let me get back to, actually, let's do this. Let's do this. No, not that. This. There we go. So that's coming up. I'll also be in Nashua, July 26th through 27th with Miko Hughes and Kane Hodder at another Monster Expo. And I've also put in for a few other conventions here in the Northeast. I will also be at a pop convention in Pennsylvania sometime in November. So that's more towards the end of the year. Keep an eye out for announcements about Camp Crystal Lake Nightmares in Burbank. And I'm also looking at trying to get into Silver Scream Con in Worcester, Massachusetts for the next session of that, because I heard that is a fun time. What's my email? wompstompfilms@gmail.com. WOMPSTOMPFILMS. I still love that the first person Ghost Chasing Kill is a guy named Garrett, hence my name. Well, that's funny. Yeah, Garrett LeMay is a good friend of mine who we called in from New Mexico. He literally drove from New Mexico, met us in Flagstaff, and then he let us murder him. Garrett is a stand-up guy. I really like that dude. I haven't seen him in a while, but I hope he's doing well. I've heard some suspect stuff about Crystal Lake Nightmares in August. I hope it's not true. Please elaborate, because I've just wondered what's going on with that thing in general. It just seems almost too good to be true, but we'll see. I did submit to the film festival, so hope they didn't take my money and run. So let's talk about some projects that are coming up. I'll start talking about some titles. One of them I can't bring up, but a couple that I can. Obviously, there's a project that I'm going to be working on, hopefully in the next month or two, with some good friends of mine, Stephen Slosh, Justin Phillips, Nick, Alyssa, everybody who's coming in to help me with this. Jordan Pacheco, who's going to be working as the production designer. It's a project called No Problemo. It's going to be about a 5 to 6 minute short film. It's all comedy. It's goofy. It's based on a joke, and I sort of took this joke and created a world out of it. And it's a fun thing that talks about toxic work culture. It's a guy who walks into a bar type situation. We have this great restaurant in downtown New Bedford called No Problemo. I wrote this short. I do this a lot. Like, I'm in a place and I just write a short about a place. It's something happens here. I'm not going to crowdfunding with it, but I did want to float it out here. I am going to reach out to a few backers who have been there for us in the past directly. But we're looking at if anybody would like to come in and help us fund this short film. It's only going to be about $5,000 or $6,000 in total. I don't see the point of going into a giant crowdfunding campaign to do this. I feel like one of those things where this is something I think we could probably raise some of the fundings, either doing partially through this or, something there. But if you're interested in being an executive producer on a short film that will be directed by myself, produced by myself, and featuring a ton of amazing talent from here in New Bedford and all over Massachusetts. This is basically the Womp Stomp East team, our debut short that we're all coming together. A lot of people are already donating their time, so it's actually a lot cheaper than it should be. I think this could be, if we wanted it to be, like a $25,000 short. We're going to do it for peanuts. Peanuts, $5,000, $6,000 is a lot of money. But if you're interested in becoming an executive producer and you would like to directly back us, again, you can email me at wompstompfilms@gmail.com with any interest in doing that. We have No Problemo coming up. That's going to be our first one. We have another project called The Bonding, which is a werewolf short. That is going to be actually launching a campaign later on this year, probably late summer, because prior to that, we're going to be launching Ghost Chicken, which, man, I should have. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about Ghost Chicken and what's coming on there. But Ghost Chicken is being turned into a graphic novel. My good friend Scott Gregory from the Rip to Shreds campaign, who is wildly successful with that and is working on that right now, is helping me build what I need to get it. We already have cover art. We're working on page art right now. Pretty soon we'll have some stuff to show you guys. That is going to be a very feasible campaign. We're looking to launch that in June. And if we're able to launch that in June, we are going to be in, it was 5K to even get a lead design. Yes, that is true. I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted with that. But anyway, we'll be putting that together, but we'll be able to put together the entire short going there. So Big Easy, $30 seems outrageous for an extra kill. It was 5K to even get the lead design in Ghost in the Fog. $30,000 isn't for an extra kill. $30,000 was going to be to actually add kills to Never Hike Alone 2. What we need for Ghost in the Fog is we need to complete the entire thing. And in fact, it's going to cost about $45,000 to do the entire animation of 8 minutes. Animation is very expensive. So what, in my sense, I feel like if we raise at least half of it, we can at least animate half of it and then use that animation to raise the other half. And all of that fun stuff. And with Ghost Chicken, something I wish I could have done with Ghost in the Fog at first, but we can't do it because there's legal issues. But with Ghost Chicken, I want that to be an animated short. It's probably about, a 25-page script. As a graphic novel will probably be 30 or 40 pages. As an animated feature, not an animated feature, but an animated short, it's probably a $70,000, $80,000 short. So we're thinking that we're going to be able to do that and put that together much more economically feasible as a graphic novel. And then if people like it enough and support it enough, we can raise that money to do it as an animated thing as well. I'm also thinking about doing that with another project of mine called The Beginning of the End, which is a zombie movie. I'm also thinking about doing it with another project called 86th, which is a zombie Western, zombie, but it's a little bit different. It's not like zombies attacking in the West. It's about an undead cowboy. There's also another animated script I wrote a long time ago called The Last Astronaut. And I'm thinking that that will probably be good as a graphic novel as well. And so those are feature films too. So Ghost Chicken is our dipping our toe in it. Those other films are going to be our larger campaigns, which are hopefully we'll start. We're launching a wing of Womp Stomp Comics, and being able to do these graphic novels, and turn some of these ideas that are maybe a little bit too big for the screen into something that we can at least get out to you. And if you guys want to support it, we're going to continue making it. Going back to Big Easy's thing, the other thing, it was $5K to even get a lead design of Ghost in the Fog. Yes. And we actually sold 2 of those. So 2 of the people that are in Ghost in the Fog, and that stuff has translated over from the other ones, is still good. You know what I mean? Like they're still in it. Like we already redesigned their characters, and Brandon and Lana. The last character, who's played by Diego Valenzuela, what is it? Dominic. Dominic is still the last character that can be changed into somebody. So in the next campaign, if somebody gets 5,000 and we're trying to get to 25, well, there we go. That's 1/5. You know what I mean? Like we're on our way. So it does have to be expensive. We do have to make it worth it. And that's the way it goes. When it comes to Ghost Chicken, those things of like, actually, there's going to be an ability to get into the comic as a background character, as someone who will be like featured, but not necessarily have a lot of lines. And there'll be a few main characters that you'll be able to purchase. And that pricing is going to be much cheaper. I'm talking about like for $500 and $250, you can get leading roles or supporting roles and things like that, because the overhead to do a graphic novel is much cheaper. I wish I could make everything cheap and do everything on the cheap for all this stuff. But the reason why we price those things out the way we do is because we need people to be invested and want to feel like they're getting back enough what they're putting in for that money. But we also have to use that money to then make that stuff. And so I don't set the prices for, the industry standards for what it costs in animation. And we're getting a huge discount from Mako Animation, who's a Mexico City based company. So working overseas is actually saving us a ton of money, because if this was an American animated team, you're probably talking about $150,000 of what 8 minutes of animation would cost. And I'm not lying to you. Those animated films you see on like DC Studios and stuff like the Batman movies and things like that are just 2D animated, it's like $100,000 for every 5 minutes. I kid you not. That's just the price of doing it at that level. When you can replicate it and do it on a small level, like teams like Mako can and like we can, that's how you get these projects like that. They're still kind of expensive, but at the end of the day, we all take ownership over it and we get to see it come to life. So that kind of becomes like the cool things. Yeah, it actually sits around 8 minutes. If I go look at it, I believe it's 8:30. Let me see. Yes, it's going to be a short animated film. Hang on one sec. I can actually tell you how long it is because I just uploaded it to the channel the other day because I needed to share it with some people. It is, where are you? No, that's not it. Huh. Oh, no, it's right here. It's 8:45. It's 8 minutes and 45 seconds. So there you go. It's a 9 minute, it's a 9-ish minute thing. And I think once we add a little bit more pieces to it, it will actually be probably 9 minutes. So there you go. 9 minutes. Not too bad. Just use AI. Suck me off. Yes, Jeremy is doing the damaged, the Battle Hawks. That's what we call them, the Battle Hawks. So he is doing damaged Battle Hawks. You will be able to get those. It would be easier to develop a certain type of plot in the comics, like Jason's origins and everything that revolves around him. So would I love to do Friday the 13th comics? I would. My good friend Scott Gregory tried that. He made a film called, not made a film. He tried to do a graphic novel called Jason Rises, and he was sued by Warner Brothers and given a cease desist to stop doing it. So I wish I could, but I really, really can't. Let me see. Any other... I don't have any Crazy Ralph characters just yet. Hey, Vincent, do you have a Crazy Ralph character in your neighborhood as a kid? I did. He was drunk and almost specifically kidnapped me. Oh, my God. Thank God he didn't get you. Let me see. I heard from a great source. As of now, they're not willing to fly any alumni out from the East Coast, so that cuts off a lot of potential guests. Okay, so that's all right. I thought it was something more sketchy than that. Yeah, they are pretty. I know that I was told that I might be able to go there. I have to get myself out there, which isn't a big deal because I'll drive across the country, stay with my brothers, and stay with my friends in LA. I don't have to pay to be out there, which is kind of cool. If I'm getting a free booth, then it's going to pay for itself. But anyway, so that's that. Oh, he said his mold broke. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll probably figure it out. So that's that. So there's the bonding. There's another film that I'm working on called The Switch. That is going to be another horror comedy. That's going to be a horror comedy. No Problemo is a straight up comedy. The Bonding is a dramatic horror. And then there is the EMF project, which is still on the table. I'm currently rewriting that at the moment. I'm actually looking over here. I have my list of things. I'm currently rewriting that moment with a new idea that Jeremy Brown and I worked out. It's just going to take me a little bit to kind of wrap my head around. So that's going there. The feature project that we're working on has been taking steps. I can't tell you what the name or any of the details of it, but what I can say is that we had a nice meeting last week, which is one of the reasons why I couldn't be on Ghost Files. We had a story meeting. We, reread the script. This is a script that's not old, but it was written a few years ago. We had to kind of go through it and make sure that it was fitting our budget, that it was fitting the tone of the world that we're living in today, all of those things. So my good friend who is writing it is now off doing the rewrites. So we'll probably hear back from him in a few weeks and taking towards the next step towards getting that done. I can't wait. You guys are here really at sort of like the ground floor of this thing. Well, not the ground floor, but as far as this being public knowledge and things like that, this ground floor, that there is an original feature from Wompstomp Films in the work. We're putting those pieces together. We're going through traditional funding. I'm playing that game. We're doing all that stuff. And it's probably going to take about a year to put together when all the deals come through and everybody's happy. My goal is to shoot this next summer, sometime around June. And in the meantime, these short films are meant to be as my, trying to stay in shape. Oh, hey, yeah, I am. I'm wearing a Never Hike Alone shirt. It's one of the shirts you'll get from the campaign. This is the Ghost Jason shirt. If you guys haven't seen it before, you guys just see me doing like press ups on my arms here. So we're doing all that. Hey, look at this. I love your movies. Me and my friends love watching them, and you inspired us. We're making our own now. Good luck. You just gotta keep up with it and keep doing your thing. What do you think could be Jason's origins? Why does he have those powers? Do you have an opinion? Yes, I believe that Jason drowned. His mother was overcome with grief to the point where she lost her mind. She sort of took on this, this rage that led to her killing all these people at the camp. And when you hear about the legends of revenants, usually a revenant is a spirit or a ghost that comes back from the dead after a tragic death. And so after Jason experiences tragic death, and then his mother experiences an even more tragic death on the lake shore of Camp Crystal Lake, when her blood touches the water, it sort of like created this supernatural curse that was what rose him up back from the dead. And he's sort of running, like his mother's blood is sort of in his veins now and is running through him, and all that hatred is sort of carrying over. And so that hate and that revenge will always just live by that lake and remind people of what happened there. And so that's just sort of what my idea is. What do you plan after your film and animation? Well, once we get Ghost in the Fog animated, that will be done. That will go on the Final Cut Blu-ray. That will go on the Ghost Cut Blu-ray. Those will be printed. Those will be sent out. Maybe it goes on the Ghost Cut. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. It may be a Final Cut exclusive, because that Ghost Cut's going to be huge. It's going to be a huge disc. And it will mostly stay the same. I was thinking about doing updated Ghost files for that too, and you'll also be able to get the lost tapes. What's it called? Ghost Jason Attacks that Cortland directed, which is basically a preview of Never Hike Alone 3. So you get to watch all of the Never Hike Alone Ghost Cut as it stands, and then you get to watch that little short with Cortland, which will show you sort of a preview. I mean, Ryan, who's in that short, is actually the main character in it, in Never Hike Alone 3. So you get some pretty cool tidbits there. Some of the things we're thinking about doing for that. Oh, wow. Good. I was actually thinking of this and I forgot. Now you reminded me. Can you explain the Pamela Anderson tweet and why you think she would be a good fit for the role? Anyway, to anybody who follows me on X, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, let me see. Hold on, I'll answer that in a question just because this. Yes, NHA goes from 1 through 8 and then Never Hike Alone. Anyway, back to this. So I don't know. I had been seeing a lot of posts about The Last Showgirl. And I've been seeing a lot of photos of Pamela Anderson walking the red carpet. She's been doing this thing where in her later in life, she is sort of, sick of the glam stuff. Think of the over-sexualized, I think, treatment of women. And she doesn't wear a lot of makeup. She's been very sort of plain Janing herself around. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think she looks stunning. Every time I see her, I remember growing up, knowing who she was, Baywatch, Barbed Wire, all, Playboy and all that stuff. And sort of what surrounded her, and to see her sort of in her elder years, there's sort of this grace that has kind of come up, it's sort of grown within her. And I think she really carries herself well. I thought that her looks in general, she kind of looks like Betsy Palmer. Betsy Palmer was pretty much a smoke show when she was a younger actress and doing all that work. And as she came back as an elder actress, I mean, everybody thinks her motherly look, but really she was kind of a bombshell back in the day. And Pamela obviously was the bombshell of bombshells, but in her older, I think she's 57. She looks great. And I just think that she just carries this innocence and sadness. And at the same time, you could almost see her be able to twist it into this rage. And then, I saw the trailer for The Last Showgirl, and I thought that just the little tidbits, the way her voice sounded, even though it was high up, it was this would be such a great Pamela, because Pamela is someone you don't expect. You know what I mean? Pamela isn't just so she isn't Jason. She isn't yoked and think you're coming at her. You think it's this kind of woman who's, can be, who isn't dangerous. And I think that she gives off that sense that she's not very dangerous, but if she twisted it, that would almost be her greatest strength, is the fact that you would never see her coming. And if you've seen, I've now since seen The Last Showgirl, and I stand by that statement that Pamela Anderson would make an amazing Pamela Voorhees. Who she is in The Last Showgirl, just imagine that character twisted enough to now go and kill for a son that she lost. And it would be just this amazing sort of, I don't know, presentation of this character. It's not to say that the actress that's been chosen or the one that was in talks, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I know that she was in Scooby-Doo and a million other things, and she's a wonderful actress. I'm sure she will do a wonderful job. I feel like she is going to do a great job of acting and bringing the character to life as an actress. I feel like Pamela Anderson is just living in that skin. I feel like you're just asking her to tweak a couple of things, and she's just naturally going to bring out a performance that it's just sort of made for her. And one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've ever heard someone say about casting is that if you want to be a good director, be a good casting director. You really shouldn't have to coach and direct your actors on set all that often. In fact, every book I've ever read on directing actors was the number one rule is sort of leave them alone. Don't fill their heads with ideas. Don't tell them what you like, all these different things. Give them the least amount to know and let them figure it out on their own and become the characters, and then just keep them between the lines. And I feel like who she is, she will have natural instincts on how to act in those situations. And I think that just her natural aura and performance will just come off as extremely authentic. And that's what really drew me towards thinking about, now, are they going to cast Pamela Anderson in Friday the 13th? Probably not. They, like I said, they already have somebody lined up for Crystal Lake. Who knows what's going to happen? But if eventually down the line, we get to a place where they're doing a reboot of the movies and it's still within a range where, Pamela feels like she's got some fight left in her and she's ready to kill some teenagers. I wouldn't be against her coming back and reprising that role. I think it would be beautiful to see her in that role. And I think she would do an amazing job. And that's why I think that Pamela Anderson would make a wonderful Pamela Voorhees. So I hope that answers for you, Adam. I know it kind of dove into that. Let me see. Going to I thought Jason was really just a big slug that hopped from person to person. Yeah, you would. Your Jason just enters the water at some point, and they're like, there must be something there that gives him powers. Jason's not afraid of water, so I think I have a theory. Yes, the lake, I believe, does help him recharge. Yes, we're planning to make a Never Hike Alone 3. It would follow Hiker Man 5000. Someone else is planning Never Hike Alone 3. Who's that? Let me see. Betsy Farmer was finest. She was. Pam is Pam. See, and it even makes sense, right? Exactly. And I feel like, again, if you guys haven't seen The Last Showgirl, it is streaming now. I think it probably costs $20. It's worth it. It's a great film. Like, this isn't all horror over here. I just love movies because movies are good. And I would highly recommend that movie. In fact, somebody said it before, rest in peace to Gene Hackman. The lady and I watched Royal Tenenbaums last night for a little trip down nostalgia lane. What an amazing actor. And and it's been cool reading about all the stories about his life. This week, pretty tragic the way, he kind of, you're hearing about the details about what happened to him. I mean, the guy was 95 years old, living out in the, kind of secluded in New Mexico. It's kind of a shame. But when you hear about the life that he lived and some of the stories of him on set, it just goes to show you that, like, this life of being in film and filmmaking and being an actor or being an actress or just somebody who's really good and committed to their role and just always shows up and is recognized for that. I think he's a great beacon of an example of what we could all strive to be when we're in this kind of crazy industry. So sad to see Gene go. He left us with a body of work that he will be remembered for hopefully generations to come. I know I certainly will. So, that I'm trying to think. Alison Trachtenberg. I can't remember her name perfectly off the top of my head, but the old Nickelodeon actress who was in a million other different things. Not Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but she was in other things too. That she passed away this week, which was also pretty bad. Let's go into other stories. Would I have Elias Voorhees? Yes, but not like the way Vengeance did. I believe that was that's just like cartoon characters. Elias Voorhees would be a real person, but he's not involved in Jason's life at all. He actually will never meet Jason. I'll leave that at that. Who would you play? I could play Elias. I actually, in the story, I probably could play Elias, but I would probably find someone a little bit different. Not Sarah Michelle Gellar. I was thinking of something else. It won't be a copycat. I actually did think about that. Like, Kyle would go crazy and become the copycat, but I shot that idea down. I don't think people would like that. I wouldn't want to do that to Kyle. Let me see. Oh, it looks like we just hit our break. Not break, but I believe that is going to do it for me tonight. It's been a long one, and I have to get up early and do some work with my dad tomorrow. Michelle Trachtenberg, thank you. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Harriet the Spy, Gossip Girl, Europe Trip. We lost her as well, so that is very sad. Just dropped dead at 39 years old. So who knows? No day is promised, right? So anyway, thank you for tuning in. I hope you learned something this week about either what we're doing or just in general. Like I said, if you're interested in joining us for the No Problemo project, please email me at wompstompfilms@gmail.com. If not, I will be emailing some people over the next few weeks about their interest in sort of jumping on as executive producers. I think I'll be back next week. I don't have any conflicts lining up at this moment, so count me in. Let's meet next week. Hopefully I'll have some cool new stuff to show you guys, maybe completed Never Hike Alone 2 Jarvis versus Jason Blu-rays, and maybe a few other things that will be arriving here in the next week as well. Let me see. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure to share this stuff around. If spring is coming up. It's starting to get warm. If you guys are going out and doing movies or you're sharing stuff, make sure you're sharing Never Hike Alone around, getting the word out about Womp Stomp Films, get people ready for some of the new campaigns that are coming up. If you have any questions, you can hit me up at wompstompfilms@gmail.com, whether it be about the show or whether it be about Womp Stomp Films, whether it be about your Never Hike Alone 2 Indiegogo package. I'm here for you, and I will be able to take care of it ASAP. So with all of that said, I hope everyone has a safe and fun weekend. And until next time, I will see you